After last year's significant but essentially under-the-skin redesign, the Kia Sorento carries over for 2015, and as such, it remains a solid pick in its class. Actually, stating class may be inaccurate given that the Sorento straddles the line between compact and mid-size crossovers, comparing directly to neither. This Kia offers a few key features, namely available V6 power and a third row seat, not typically offered on the compacts while still not being as large as traditional mid-sizers. That combination could be the happy medium that some families are looking for. So let's go ahead and check out this 2015 Kia Sorento LX. Now, since we have the base LX trim, this LX trim comes standard with features such as 17-inch alloy wheels, air conditioning, full power accessories, Bluetooth phone and audio connectivity, a 6-speaker sound system, and satellite radio with USB and auxiliary audio jacks. And the LX V6 adds the V6 engine as well as roof rails and a third row seat. Now, as far as styling goes on the vehicle, I quite like the styling on the Sorento a lot. I like the aggressive looking front end, and then on upper trim levels you do get premium looking LED daytime running lights. HIDs are also an option as well. And overall, this can be a pretty premium looking vehicle, especially on the upper trim levels. But overall, it's still pretty premium looking. You have standard LED turn signals on the mirrors as well as chrome door handles too. Now here's the key fob design for the vehicle. As you can see, it's a pretty premium looking key fob design here. You do have a switchblade key, a smart key is also available, but you do have your lock, unlock to release your trunk, and then your panic button. Now it is a snow white pearl exterior color with a full-on black cloth interior, standard power driver seat, power recline, and power lumbar as well. Now this Sorento we have here is also equipped with the V6 engine. Now step-in height for the vehicle is pretty fair. It is on par with the rest of its competitors. Now as you can see, it is a pretty high quality looking cabin design here for a base trim level. Push button ignition is available. And like I said, what you're hearing is that 3.3 liter V6. Full leather wrapped steering wheel. Coming to your transmission, you have a 6-speed automatic with manual shiftability. Putting the vehicle into reverse displays your rear view camera with guidance lines, of course. Let's go ahead and cut on the lights. You also do have fogs and the hazards. Automatic driver's side window. And let's go ahead and pop up the hood and check out the engine bay. Heated exterior mirrors with LED turn signal indicators. It is all-wheel drive. Halogen projector beam headlights with LED accenting lights and halogen fogs too. Now what you're looking at here is a 3.3 liter V6 with 290 horses at 6,400 RPM and 252 pound-feet of torque at 5,200 RPM, with EPA estimates being 18 in the city and 24 on the highway. Now your base powertrain is going to be a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder. I recommend avoiding that powertrain as that powertrain provides pretty mediocre acceleration and mediocre fuel economy as well. However, I definitely recommend going up to this 3.3 liter V6. And like I said, all-wheel drive is optional. Front-wheel drive is standard. But overall, this powertrain, the V6, gets the job done. It provides adequate amounts of power, and the transmission does shift pretty nicely. So overall, it's a pretty responsive pair here. Now, pricing of the Sorento starts at the LX trim, which starts at $24,100. And then you have the EX trim, which starts at $31,500. Then the SX, which starts at $36,500. Then you have the SXL, which starts at $39,900. Now, some special features to note is that you can get blind spot monitoring, heated and ventilated front seats, as well as a panoramic sunroof. Now, competitors of the Sorento, now you could compare it to the Honda CR-V, or you could compare it to full-size crossovers such as the Ford Explorer or the Chevrolet Traverse. It kind of slots in between there, which makes the Sorento a pretty unique SUV, in my opinion. But overall, there is no really direct main competitors for the Sorento. It's almost in a class of its own, sorta. Now in 2014, they actually updated the front end as well as the rear end. I love the rear end of the Sorento. Very stylish, yet not overdone. You have rear reflectors and rear parking sensors, rear window wiper with a rear window defroster. Now EPA estimates, like I said, are 18 in the city and 24 on the highway. Total vehicle price for this particular Sorento is $34,975. Power windows, power door locks, power mirrors, nice soft touch armrest. Hard to the touch on the upper door panel, however. And let's go ahead and rev it up. Very nice. Now, we do have the LX trim, and it is the base trim. However, we do have the convenience package, and that adds a lot of equipment that really adds to the overall experience of the Sorento. It makes it feel more premium inside of this car. We do have heated seats. That comes with the convenience package. That is not standard on the LX trim. We also do have an auto-dimming rear view mirror, and then the rear view camera is also an option. And then also an option. Now, we do have the base LX trim of the Sorento, and there's a reason behind why this cabin looks pretty high quality. And even on the base bare to the bone trim, the LX, it can look pretty high quality inside of this cabin here, but we do have the convenience package. Now the convenience package essentially adds heated seats and an auto dimming rear view mirror. You also do have rear sunshades back there, as well as the rear view camera does come with the convenience package and the UVO telematics system. Now that adds to the overall experience of the Sorento to give it a more high quality feel and experience and premium look. Now, as far as build quality and materials go here, you can kind of tell this is a 4 or 5 year old Kia in terms of its material quality. And the Sorento was last fully redesigned in the 2011 model year. Now, build quality is pretty good. I don't find that many panel gaps inside of the cabin here. However, materials can be slightly upgraded. Materials, you have hard touch plastic up here and on the dashboard. However, it does have a decent graining to it. And you know what? As far as build quality goes, that's the most important part. Build quality is excellent. However, I would love to see this be soft to the touch, as well as on the mid-door panel. The only really soft to the touch places are on the armrest and on the center console armrest too. Now, coming to the center stack controls here, it is pretty ergonomically correct, very clear and easy to read, big knobs and buttons. expect what you would expect from a family crossover. You have your fan speeds right here, your different zones, and your temperatures. You have your AC button right here, your recycling mode, and then your rear window defroster, and then your AC for the rear. Coming down here, you have your heated seats, and then right here you have two 12-volt power outlets, a USB port, and your auxiliary input, where you will find your USB and your aux input in all Kias. Cup holders right here, and you can get ambient lighting inside of this interior on the upper trim levels. You have your active eco button right here, your parking sensors button, and then to activate your 115-volt power outlet. I really do love this black piano veneer trim that goes throughout the whole entire cabin here. And then coming to your center console, it is a fairly good size. Like I said, it is soft to the touch and stitched as well. Up here you have your auto-dimming rearview mirror with the integrated compass. Up here you have your sunglass container, and then your interior illumination lighting. Now coming to the steering wheel design, the steering wheel design is getting pretty dated. I would love to see their newer steering wheel designs on the Sorento. However, this is pretty functional, works very well. It's just not as stylish as I've seen in some other Kias. Coming over here on your left side right here, you have your steering wheel mounted audio controls, Bluetooth phone controls, and then right over here you have your cruise control buttons as well as voice recognition, and then these set of buttons down here control your little information center screen right there, which I will get to in just a second. Now coming to the main head unit here, you have Kia's Uvo system, their downgraded system. You can get a larger touchscreen. This is a touchscreen, by the way. You have AM, FM, optical disc drive, satellite radio as well, Bluetooth phone, hands-free calling. Your e-services, you have roadside assistance, vehicle diagnostics, parking minder, e-services guide, and your My Car Zone, and you could change the settings for it. Coming to your setup, you could change the display, change it to the daylight or night mode, system information, coming to main, you have your text scroll, your different language, Bluetooth streaming audio on this car as well. And let's go ahead and test out the voice recognition.
Please say a command after the beep.
Phone.
No phone is available. Please pair a phone.
So voice recognition does work pretty well. Coming up here you have your digital clock, of course. Now, as far as seating comfort goes in the vehicle, the seating comfort of the Sorento is pretty good. Nice right amount of side bolstering, and thigh support is also pretty decent too. And the seats aren't too firm. They have just the right amount of cushion to them and provide enough support. Now, as far as visibility goes inside of this vehicle, visibility is okay. It's not the best I've seen in a crossover. Outward visibility is okay as well. However, you do have a massive C-pillar back there. It is pretty big, so you do have some pretty big blind spots. However, at least on most trims you do get a rear view camera. Coming over here you have your traction control off button, your interior illumination lighting, and then right here you have your differential locking. Now, as far as ride and handling go in the Sorento, while cruising at highway speeds, the Sorento is exceptionally quiet with a minimum of road noise. For the most part, I also like the way it rides, as the suspension soaks up most road bumps with ease. Really harsh impacts, however, such as deeper potholes and buckle pavement, can send a jolt throughout the cabin. Handling is similarly mostly good until the Sorento is faced with more extreme circumstances. Around turns, the Kia's handling is far from sporty, but most drivers should find it sure-footed enough for a family vehicle. When navigating the confines of a parking lot, the big Kia feels smaller than it really is, and in general it's quite a bit more maneuverable than larger 7-passenger SUVs, like the Ford Explorer as well as the Chevrolet Traverse. Now coming to the gauges here, the gauges have a pretty nice font, and I love the white illumination around them. Now coming to the center screen here, it is going to show you a basic amount of vehicle information like a trip odometer, your exterior temperature readout, your average speed, your fuel range, of course, average MPG, all of that basic stuff. Alright, and let's go ahead and shut it down. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of the vehicle, including the cargo capacity as well as the rear seat passenger space for the second row as well as the third row. Now, a power lift gate is also optional. Now, these rear seats also do fold down to maximize cargo room. However, if you're comparing this to a Honda CR-V or a Toyota RAV4, a smaller crossover, then the cargo capacity is going to be much bigger than them. However, if you're comparing this car to a larger crossover such as the Ford Explorer, the Toyota Highlander, or the Chevrolet Traverse, the Sorento is going to be much smaller than them in terms of its cargo capacity. But overall, it's a decent amount of cargo capacity in general. And the second row seats also do fold down to maximize cargo room. Now, materials and the build quality does follow through in the rear. Still nice and soft to the touch armrest. Nice stitching too. And the black piano veneer trim. However, hard to the touch on the mid door panel and the upper door panel. But they do have a rear sunshade back here, even for this LX trim. On many other crossovers, you really have to step up to the higher end, way higher end trim levels to get the features such as rear sunshades. Now back here, the second row seats also do recline and they do slide forward and aft for greater comfort. Now sitting back here, what I'm noticing is that there's not as much legroom as there is in other full-size crossovers, and I have the seat position to where my position would be at. I'm about 5'11". I am a pretty tall driver, however, and legroom is just not that great. It's kind of just as good as, say, a Honda CR-V as far as legroom goes, but they do give you a third row seat, which the Honda CR-V doesn't offer, so it's kind of a trade-off there. But as far as the actual seats go, they're actually really comfortable, and thigh support is okay too. In some other small crossovers like the Ford Escape, thigh support is terrible. Now back here you have a 115 volt power outlet and a 12 volt power outlet as well. Cup holders and a rear armrest. But overall, it's not too shabby back here. You do get a rear sunshade, and on the upper trim levels you can get a panoramic sunroof and heated rear seats too. So it can get fairly luxurious back here. You also do have dual map pockets. Alright. Now to hop into the third row seat, just slide this seat forward. Do like that, and then just hop right in. Now sitting back here, it's actually pretty cramped for the third row seat. And I know I'm not really a big fan of third row seating, but this is actually pretty cramped. And other crossovers such as the GMC Acadia and Chevrolet Traverse, they're going to be much more roomier in terms of their third row seating. But however, at least they do give you an option for a third row seat. But I do recommend only small children sitting back here. Now, it's not so much that the legroom is what really bothers me. It's more of the headroom. And I'm about 5'11", like I said, and headroom can be a lot better. I'm actually hitting the ceiling back here. Now, you do have a little storage cubby right there and a cup holder and your rear fan speeds. And on this side, you actually do have a little storage cubby right here, but no cup holder. Pretty surprising. But you do have a vent back here. And of course, thigh support is terrible. Alright. Full manual passenger seat. Your glove box compartment. Pretty spacious glove box. So the 2015 Kia Sorento is one of my top recommendations to consumers shopping for a small or mid-sized crossover SUV. Thanks to its well-mannered driving characteristics, a roomy interior, and generous standard and optional features, as well as a lengthy warranty as well, which comes with any Kia. Now remember that this is camera